Welcome to the Michele Roys Show.
Hello and welcome everyone to another beautiful time of Michele Roys Show. I have the honor and privilege to interviewing someone that's really dear to me. Her name is Carol Register. She is not only a master neurocoach, motivational speaker, high-performing leadership coach, and creator of the Neurowealth Method. Welcome. Yes. She's an amazing lady, and I'm so privileged to be able to have this time to chat. So I'd like for you to be coming here and enjoy this time. Carol, you're very welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm even better now that I'm here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, I'm very, very honored to have you. You have been such a bright light, always so kind and caring, and of wealth of knowledge. Like this, I have to say, I'm so, so grateful to have you here. And I wanted to ask you first if you can explain a little bit about what neurocoaching is for our
Uh,
listeners out there.
I love talking about this. So it's neuroscience-based coaching, and it is based on a specific framework for rewiring. There's a lot of mindset work out there, and everybody has their own methods for, helping us to lean into what we're believing that gets to be shifted, those things that are limiting us and the lies that get wired in, right? And to be able to shift to the kind of things that move us forward in our vision, in our values. So this neurocoaching is specifically using a neuroscience-based process. It's a framework that is science-based, that is proven when you follow it, that you can actually change your thoughts. You can neutralize and erase old beliefs, and then you can wire in new beliefs that are success beliefs that are true for you. And following a framework or a step-by-step process that's proven is something where you're not out there nebulous going, oh, my best friend's therapist told her to do this, so now I'm trying this. And oh, I saw this reel on Instagram. I think I'm going to try this. And then we get these short-term results where we continue to have the same pattern show up over and over. This neuro coaching is specifically to take you through a clear process so you have long-term tools in order to continue to up level your thinking, your belief system.
I think that's fascinating because like you're saying there, it's just not just something that somebody watched here or there sporadically. It's something that's based on science and seen principles as well, right? That can work in our lives. And I think it's such a good point because it's so easy to allow our mindsets to be so rigid in a different way, right? The way we grow up or belief systems that we have, but it also hinders us from growing up, right? And being able to adjust to new realities or even change from where we are. And how do you work with people to help them change?
That's a great question. So right now I've got my year-long program that's opening up. It's called the Diamond Transformation Program, and it has four pillars within it: identity work, the Neurowealth Method, which I created, and that is both that neuroscience reprogramming process combined with principles of wealth, which are universal wealth laws. So the identity work, the neuro wealth method, a strong, supportive, safe community, and also then the strategy, the business strategy that is necessary for the changes that people want to make.
Oh, that's so powerful. I mean, I love the framework, the four pillars that you're expressing there. I love the principles of wealth. I've done it, and I think they're just so fascinating to be able to apply them into your life and just remember their principles that governs, its laws that if you apply them and you can see the result. I think like the Pareto and well, one of the principles that you taught about that and the principles of wealth as well. I think you have so much amazing knowledge and information. But bring us back a little bit to your growing up. Where are you from?
Well, I was born and raised in the Midwest, but I've been in Florida for a long time. And, then I moved overseas to Chile and I've been there for over 11 years. So,
Wow. You're international as well, exactly. Business lady as well, internationally. You're
yeah.
amazing. And how did you first got into the neurocoaching?
It was a part of my journey, my healing journey, my vision. I found myself widowed alone in Chile, in the foreign country, and with brand new industry business, the hospitality business that I had just purchased. I didn't know anything about it. I was a former high-level gymnastics judge for many years and clinician, and had done a variety of things. I've been like a cat. I've had 9 lives and done, everything from being an interior decorator to administering school to teaching. And through all of these pathways, though, when I was working to save my husband's life, he was ill and decided to move overseas. And when I got there, he passed away, went forward in the process of all this happening with purchasing the hospitality industry. Like I was saying, it's a little inn, boutique hotel, if you will, restaurant, coffee bar. And so I was feeling quite lost in that process of what happened. And I also, in that process, had to become an instant financial expert.
Mm.
And this was years ago. And as I began to learn this process of neurocoaching and the principles of wealth, I started to apply it. For me, it really happened when I recognized that I did have a whisper in my heart. I had a vision. I had things I wanted to do. They were just continually getting blocked and shut down. And I intuitively knew that I was the one that was in my own way. And I heard a podcast from my mentor, who I'm certified through, and she had said, you can remove your limiting beliefs. And I went, you can do what? You, wait, what? Count me in. Because, I had a recognition that I had them, but I didn't know that there was a process that I could go through to actually remove them. And that's the cool thing about neuroplasticity and science is that it's a system called synaptic pruning in science, where we're actually you're pruning away an old network that you've been operating by for a very long time and putting in place a new network of beliefs that you want to have. So through this process of regaining my vision, going through this program and all of the learning that I got to do, I was able to then go and get certified in it. And from this mentor, she had a certification program, solid program, year-long, in-depth, thorough. And about halfway through it, when I was seeing my own changes really cement and my colleagues and her clients, I was observing these things. I went, oh, I'm bitten by this bug. I have to share this information for people. So it was through my own healing journey and application that I came to wanting to share it.
That's an amazing story. And I can hear the resilience that you had as well to have to restart again on your own in a completely different country. And then having that fortitude to keep going and trying to find new ways, for, like you said, for the limiting beliefs to not be there anymore, to rewire your brain. I think it's fascinating. And I think so many people can learn so much from this. I mean, I think we all can learn from this. I think I can as well because there are different things that will hold us back, right? That hold us stuck in different places. And
And
thanks for sharing that.
yeah, you're welcome. It's true. And that's one of the things that I'm absolutely passionate about is that there is a clear process. It is proven. We can see it in brain mapping. It does work. And so we're not left with a vague, oh, maybe again, I'll try this, I'll try that. I was in a place, Michelle, where I was really living everybody else's plans for my life, and I didn't even know it. And my vision, when I started to recognize that I had one, I started to lean in and hear the whisper in my heart. It was cloudy for me. It was so cloudy, and that was for obvious reasons. I had a lot of trauma brain going on in the lower brain, in more of a survival mode. And through the process of being able to rewire, that's where I saw healing occur. And then on top of that, having to become that instant financial expert, which I still would not say I am a financial expert. I'm certainly not a financial advisor, but I am an educator for those principles that I became aware of, got to see operating with people who are in the 1%, who are very wealthy, and that they were thinking differently, they were doing things differently. And I was still making decisions from a place of scarcity, a place of fear of losing everything, a place of avoiding. And underneath that, there was a real self-doubt, a real believing that I didn't deserve it, wasn't meant for me, that there wasn't enough to go around. If others had it, I couldn't have it, that it was dangerous for me to have it, especially from a lot of the religious programming that I had received, and had to go back and revisit that and look at what was true and what was possible to have a heart-centered life where there's fulfillment, there's peace, there's joy, and you're in alignment with your values. And I became in alignment with my values in that process.
That's beautiful. Now I can see it. You radiate light and love and care. It's so amazing to see. Like, I'm so fortunate to have met you in person as well. So that's
Thank
always
you.
great. I think that what you're saying there with regards to how we grow up and the religion beliefs or the different backgrounds we have and the traumas that we have and our past as well, how it can really influence us and moving from that brain of being constantly fight, fright mode, right? Or flight mode or freeze in between, right? So what you basically do is lift up the hood of that car and go deep in all the aspects. Is that correct?
That's right. It is an immersive process. And that is one of the reasons that my program is a year long, because we work through some things. And, as you know, from being near me and seeing the things that I do, the worthiness piece is key. So that's where we lay a foundation on our identity, on our being, as I found that through culture and through the way that I was raised, and hear it and see it in many of us, that we become so focused on being performance oriented that it becomes performance-based acceptance rather than knowing that we're truly valuable. We arrive that way, and then we can build our doing on that. And instead, we're often taught to put the doing first. And there's a phrase that I learned several years ago. It was Gary Keller, I believe, in his book, The One Thing, that really highlighted this. And it's this culture where we think we have to have things in order to do things, in order to be somebody, when in reality, the way that we are designed, our divine design, is that it's who we are. We arrive with value, and then our doing flows from that place, and then the having comes to us through that.
Yeah,
So it's switching it around to be do have.
that's beautiful. And again, that's part of the rewiring, isn't it? Because we're so ingrained to go one way, have
Yeah,
do. But to actually turn it around, it's a lot of work, but definitely worthwhile. I think the part that you said
yeah,
there about realigning yourself and when you were before you used to do what other people wanted you to do, not what you felt inside that you wanted to do. I think so many people find themselves in the same situation, that they are conditioned by their environment and they don't necessarily move forward because, maybe they're born in poverty or their families are alcoholics or all these different limiting beliefs that they
Things.
have, yeah, that holds
Yeah.
them back. But it is possible, right? If we
Yeah.
are able to change, and if you can speak a little bit more into that on different things that people holds people back from changing.
Well, it's interesting what we were just talking about. A lot of times it's referred to the hustle culture, and action is a good thing. It's a positive thing. It does move us forward to live out our dreams. It's not about just sitting, with our legs crossed, humming, but it also happens that way as well. And I think that is really important to address because we can get into this 24/7, gotta keep going to the sacrifice of our bodies, our spirits, and our brain, right? And it's really important to know that it doesn't have to be that way. So it's a combination of being able to have that doing flow from that whisper in our heart and from that vision and from that why. And our brains love to default to strategy. They go straight to the strategy. How do I do this? What's the plan? What's the program? And a plan and a program are very important. It's not to diminish that in any way, but it's to put it in its proper order. So when you are standing grounded in who you are and your intrinsic worthiness, you're able to actively reprogram limiting beliefs and replace them with success beliefs. You're able to look at universal wealth laws, in my case, with what I teach, and learn how those who are in the 1% do operate and the kind of things that they do take action on. And then you surround yourself with powerful people who are on that journey with you. That energy comes in, that vibration comes in, and then you're building on that, the strategy, the actual business action plan to get to where you want to go. It's taking that strategy and putting it in the proper order instead of just going out there. It's also giving ourselves permission to fail, giving ourselves permission to try things, but not in such a way where we just stay stuck and we stay spinning and we get burned out. How many of us, you and I know what it's like to be burned out. At
Absolutely.
one point, I couldn't get out of bed for 5 days. I was wiped out completely.
Mm.
And so when we start to put things in the proper order, prioritize in the proper process, working with the way our mind, body, soul it works, then that's when things start to align and start to flow.
Mm.
And, you can study people like Warren Buffett. Watch what he does. He's not out there hustling. It's not the way it happened for him. So, yeah.
That's very true. And I think the part you said about community is so important because those that are around us will either pull us up or push us down, right? And it's really difficult sometimes when you have that environment where people are not wanting to grow or that don't feel that they should invest in themselves and, especially in their mindsets or change their mindsets because they feel they're fine the way they are.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important to be able to find a community of people that are willing to grow, and even in our own with the Worthy Book Club that we're part of. I mean, I think it's an amazing resource for people to have. And I feel motivated every single time I can get on the call, no matter what's happening. It really inspires me. But this is definitely a
Yeah.
pillar that's so important for all of us, right? The
It is, and
communication,
that's
community.
one of the things I love doing is operating the Worthy Book Club. If you're interested, come on in, it's free.
Yes.
And it's being able to be, like you said, surrounded by the people that are in the journey with you, that may be steps ahead of you, maybe a few steps behind you, but you have this common goal of being in high vibe energy, of doing the work that we're doing in there together. And in the Diamond Transformation Program as well, it's like that because, you know, we are surrounded by music, movies, news, culture, and, you know, maybe could be colleagues, could be family members who may not be on that same journey and may not be able to speak into that in a way that benefits you and uplifts you and helps you to keep going with the mission that's in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, the diamond transformation sounds amazing. You also have an upcoming masterclass. Is that correct? When is
I
that?
do. That is on Thursday, the 22nd. It
Perfect.
is held at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's 8 a.m. Pacific Time for those of you in the States. And I know you're in Europe. And then, are you 5 or 6 hours at this point in
We're five, so it'll be
Ireland?
4 o'clock for us at 11.
Okay. Yes, so it's not too late for those of you that are in other parts of the world, such as Europe. And yeah, it's something that I'm really looking forward. It's Heal Your Limiting Money Stories to Unlock Your Seven-Figure Wealth.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Thank
Count
you.
me in there. But yeah, for sure, this is going to be a great masterclass. I mean, you're an amazing coach as is, and giving this valuable information as well. I have a question. For somebody that's having a hard time understanding how they can shift their mindsets, what is an easy or practical application of something simple that they can do right now that will help them, just
Mm.
helping their brain?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's really interesting. We can shift our brains instantly, but it does have to do with what we've got wired in.
Mm,
So the majority of our limiting beliefs have come before the age of 8, as they say. And then what we don't realize is what has been wired into our sophisticated subconscious system is operating by and large without our awareness. And I love to give the example of, you know, I can sit on a chair or a sofa and tie my shoes, getting ready to go somewhere and have a conversation with you. Well, that's because tying my shoes is wired in, and I'm not having to pause and direct my mind and draw attention and go cross one lace over the other lace. It's automated. So a lot of our beliefs are automated and they're limiting. And then we're making as many as 95% of our daily decisions from those beliefs. We think we're making our decisions from our conscious mind, but it's actually a much larger percentage from our subconscious mind. So the reason that I want to draw this out is when you have a basic understanding of your system and how it works, it can really help you when you want to shift a mindset.
mm,
Because if you don't have any awareness of how the system works and you just go to shift your thoughts, you can retrain your brain doing it over and over and over again. It takes repetition to wire something in, but we're not necessarily removing the opposite limiting belief in that process. So then, okay, I'm going to say, hey, make this instantaneous mindset shift. And what tends to happen is the old belief is still operating in the subconscious system. So you're like, okay, you know, New Year's resolution time. Wow, it's been 21 days. I've lost the 10 pounds. I am so excited. And week 4 or 5, it starts to fall apart. And you're like, what happened? I had established a habit, a new pattern. I did the 21-day thing. But what's going on at that point, Michelle, so interesting because yes, you did lay down like a new neural network, but you still got the old one at 21 days side by side. And this old neural network is really wanting to stay in place because that's what the brain views as safety, whatever is wired in already and what is familiar. So the brain sees this old neural network of your old habit as familiar, and the new neural network is just now getting established. This one's got solid ground. So you're starting to get neurotransmitters, neurochemicals to reinforce the old network. But what happens when you follow a neuroscience-based process and you continue along is you work in such a way that this old network gets shaky and starts to dissolve, to synaptic prune, to break away, right? But until that happens, it's still there operating, and we get uncomfortable when we grow. We're facing this resistance. Well, this is the way your nervous system works. It's reinforcing, protecting that subconscious system with whatever is wired in there, even if it's faulty. So I can tell you, okay, just shift your mindset, but it doesn't address what's going on in there. It's still happening in that way. And that's what's really important to recognize. You always have the power of choice in any individual given moment. So when a limiting belief comes up, that harsh inner critic comes up, you're not good enough. What do you think you're doing? Why are you trying this? Like nobody really likes you, whatever it may be that's running around in your head, that mean voice in your head. You can actively choose in that moment, and you can say, no, I believe in me, I trust myself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to go through a specific process that voice isn't coming up anymore. It's being neutralized and erased and replaced with the belief that you want to have, such as your worthiness and your enoughness.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was so well explained. I think it's so important, like you said, to have that awareness of how it works so that we can actually internalize it and then work through it. This is great. And I think everybody should learn this.
Thank you.
It's so important. It's not only for wealth, right? It's for every single aspect of your life, for your health, for your wealth, for your well-being, for relationships, because every single part of that has had a growing, right, of a story that we've told ourselves, that we limit ourselves in one way or another. And that's amazing. Carol, how can people get connected with you?
People can connect with me on socials through Carol Register, Facebook and LinkedIn. My handle on Instagram is @Neurocoach Carol. So just like the first part of neuroscience, Neuro, Neurocoach Carol. But you can also find me under Carol Register. I'll show up that way as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I know you have also been on TV and newspapers and so many different things, and you have 2 podcasts, top podcasts, I have to say. So I'm so honored to have you here, Carol. And I'm definitely going to put those details as well on our show notes. And thank you so much. I think the masterclass is coming up. Everyone that's listening, please do sign up. It's going to be coming on a Wednesday, so it's happening on the Thursday. And connect with Carol and the Diamond Transformation Program. Can't wait to hear more about that one. It's going to be fantastic. But Carol, thank you again for taking your time, and you are a wonderful person. Thank you for shining your light and educating us on this, because it's such an amazing and fascinating subject as well. And we all need to help ourselves elevate and feel that worthiness as well and who we are. But I'm so blessed to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I'm right there with you. I want all of you who are open to this information to have it. Such powerful tools. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This was the Michele Roys Show.